approximately 2 years now. So today I'm going to talk about waste management strategies in town planning. So the presentation will be about how we can include waste management strategies in the waste management plan that is required for town planning, and what all things we can consider in the designing of the development so that waste management takes place smoothly. Going further, so first of all, I think Kevin has already talked about the SDAP process in his town planning webinar. So I'm just going a bit about that. So Introduction to SDAP, Sustainable Design Assessment in the Planning Process, is a scheme in Victoria where proposed developments are reviewed for sustainable design considerations and credentials as part of the application for a planning permit. It was started in 2004 or earlier as grassroots effort in a few councils. Later, these councils formed the CASPE. So as we all know, we have certain reports that is required for planning applications. Main types of reports include Sustainable Management Plan, known as SMP, Sustainable Design Assessment, SDA, ESD statements, which is required in City of Melbourne, and other reports which may be required are Waste Management Plan, Green Travel Plan, and Water Sensitive Urban Design Report. These are basically based on the council's requirement, and if councils ask it, then we provide it. Going further, why WMP is required in planning and why the council asks for the waste management plan. So it is basically done so that when the waste management collection is taking place, it does not cause any hindrance to the people nearby. Supposedly, there's a truck coming in a not suitable time for everyone, and there's a rush on the road or stuff like that. So it can cause hindrance to the nearby vehicles and the people moving by. So that's why it takes place. It's important so that people are not affected and the waste management process goes on smoothly. So it is to ensure that waste systems are implemented today to achieve positive outcomes for the municipality in the future. Councils aim to ensure amenity, traffic, pedestrian safety, and health are not adversely affected by operations servicing waste management systems in new and existing developments. So talking about these details that needed to be included in the waste management plan are land use details, waste generation, waste systems, bin quantity, size and color, collection frequency, bin storage, collection location, additional waste requirements, scaled waste management drawings, collection contractors, and the signage. We are going to talk a bit in detail about all these things in the coming slides. So first of all is the land use details. This should include the information of the development. For example, if it's residential or commercial development, I think it's common for every assessment that we do. Then the other part is, if it's a commercial development, then the waste calculation is basically based on the floor area. For example, for offices, it's 10 liters per 100 square meters for the waste required. And for residential developments, it's based on the number of bedrooms. If it's apartments, then it's based on number of bedrooms. But if it's a dwelling, then it's normally based on number of dwellings in the area because the waste rates are standard for the dwellings. Going further, waste generation. For generally, we used to use City of Melbourne waste rates that are acceptable to all the councils, but it will be good if we confirm that with the relevant council before commencing the waste management plan, because sometimes it can happen that council have their own rates. So it's good that we tell the council, the waste officer, that we are using this rates for this development so that he can confirm and you can go ahead. So otherwise it can be a bit of a confusion afterwards that the waste rates are not correct. So it's good to confirm beforehand. Also, there's a new Sustainability Victoria Waste Generation Rates online calculator. This is pretty easy to use. As you can see, images on the right hand side. So we have all the areas, possible developments where waste can be generated. So we can just write the square meter area in the commercial food like restaurants or stuff. If we have 300 square meter supermarket, we can put over there. Then in the bottom right, we can see weekly generation. We'll get the rates for the garbage and the recycling that is required to be put in the waste management plan. Similarly, we'll get the waste rates for the residential dwellings that is there in, you can see in the dwelling waste and recycling materials. So as I said previously, number of dwelling is for the individual dwellings, and then 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 1-bedroom quantity is required for the apartments. Waste system. So we should provide the entire waste system that is going to be there in the development. This includes in apartments source separation systems, chutes, in-chute compaction equipment, transportable compactors, bin lifters, and tugs or towing devices. You can see image on the right hand side. It's showing a bin tug. So basically, if we are proposing a waste management plan and we say that building operator has to take the waste from the bin store to the collection point, then we also have to mention that how he will take that waste bin. Supposedly it's a big bin, so definitely he can't carry it like easily with the hand. So he needs some kind of supporting equipment. So we need to tell that. We need to mention that in the report. And also, like, even if these things are pretty simple, like chutes, which is common in the apartments, so we need to mention that residents in the development are going to put their waste in the chutes, and from there the building operator will take the waste to the collection points from the main store. And one more thing here, supposedly we don't have enough space for 2 chutes where we can put garbage or the recycling waste. We can go with the diverter chute, where one chute is there, and when it goes to the waste area, so it diverts into 2 separate streams, and while putting the waste, residents have to click the button that which stream they want to put their waste in. Either it's garbage or it's recycling. So architects also need to mention that in the drawings as well. Like, once we propose it and it's approved, then architects can mention in the drawings to make it clear for the council. So as we have discussed 2 types of waste before, garbage and recycling, there are other types of waste that we need to consider and put it in our report. First of all is electronic waste. For example, like in these kind of waste, we need to visit the council website, because every council has their locations where e-waste can be dropped off. So we can mention the link, or we can mention the areas where it can be dropped off at certain times, so that it's clear that this thing has been addressed in the report. The other one is food and organic waste. So this is generally dependent on the development. Basically, if it's a restaurant, we know that it's going to be a lot of food waste. So we need to consider that how we are going to address the food and organic waste in the development. An example, and now councils are going strict on the food waste, and they are asking us that it should be considered in each and every development. So we need to provide that as well. For example, we did a waste management plan for child care center in Burundara Council. So officer asked to dedicate 35% of the general waste to food waste. So basically, it's not going to change the number of bins. It's only going to dedicate one of the bins of the general waste to the food waste. So we can consider that, and we need to consider that for the reports, and proper research is also required. So it's not fully applicable for all the councils now, but councils are considering this to incorporate this in the future. So as you can see, image on the right hand side, changes to Victoria bins by 2030. There are going to be 4 bins. One will be unrecyclable household waste, that will be red. Yellow will be plastic plus metal containers containing paper and cardboard. Third will be glass containers in purple, and the fourth will be food scraps and garden organics. Generally, garden waste is responsibility of the landscape contractor. But the only thing is we need to write that in a report. And then we have to tell the bin quantity, type, and color. Waste management plan must include the number of bins and the sizes. So we have like generally 120 liter bin, 240 liter bin, 360, 660, and 1100. It depends on the space that we have and the ease of convenience that we can give it to the client for the number of bins. Then they are deciding how many number of bins are going to be put in the development. So collection frequency, it is one of the most important aspect because collection frequency can determine the storage area of the bins. Garbage and recycling bin-based collections is maximum up to 3 times a week, depending on the density of the development. As per our experience with the councils, more than 3 times, it's very hard that council will accept the collection time and frequency. So basically, as you can see image below, the refuse area can hold 5 bins. This is because collection frequency was 2 times. So if we increase the collection frequency, it will reduce the requirement of the bin area, but it can lead to risk in the council coming back saying that, okay, you need to reduce the collection frequency and increase the bin area. But I think at approximately up to 3 times, it's acceptable. So here, if 5 bins are located, like 3 are for recycling, or sorry, 3 are for waste and 2 are for recycling, because collection frequency is 2 times. If it was 1 time, then the bin number will increase to 5 general waste, 6 general waste bins, and 4 recycling bins, so 10 bins. So it will require a huge refuse area. So we need to consider that, and we need to talk with our clients that how they want to proceed, or if they have space, they can increase the bin area. If not, then we can increase the collection times. So bin storage, so waste stream must be clearly separated. So residential waste needs to be kept separate from the commercial waste. We need to provide the following, like the bin room size and the bin layout. As we can see image on the right hand side, so yellow one is representing the recycle bins and the red ones are representing garbage bins. So it's clear for the council officers that these things have been thought of, and the operator is going to take care of that easily. Collection location, there are normally 2 types of collection locations. One is on-site collections. Supposedly you want the bins to be collected from the site, in the site, or from the basement. Then we normally require a swift path analysis to determine if adequate space is there for the collection truck. We need to request it from the traffic engineer so that they can provide us that if this vehicle is applicable to collect the waste and goes out of the building without causing any hindrance. And the other one is on-street collections. This is normally applicable for the council collection, and we need to check that if the road is broad enough so that the council vehicle or the normal waste vehicle can come in and collect the waste and take it off. Additional waste requirements. So developers must consider the storage and disposal of hard waste. So every council have their own requirements for the hard waste, and it's good to check the planning scheme and that how the hard waste will be taken care of. Normally we'll write a line about that in our report, so that it's covered. And sometimes council asks to show the hard waste storage for architects to show in the drawings as well. So collection contractors, so normally, as I've said a little bit about that previously, we need to determine what collection is suitable for the project, either council collection or private collection. So council collection is more suitable where collection times are not that much required, like once a week or something, and the roads that the development is placed in is quite broad, so that they can bring their truck in and take it away without any problems. Because if it's a narrow road or something, then it will be a problem for the collection truck to come and go away. So if we have a narrow road or something, or we have to collect it from the site, then I would say that private collection is much better, because we can go for mini vehicles that can come in and they can enter the site and take the waste away. Signage, it's pretty straightforward. Signs will be required at drop-off points, the bin area and chute areas, to encourage the correct recycling and reduce the contamination, so that the residents can put their waste accordingly, so that they should not mix the waste where it should go in the garbage or recycling, because otherwise the operator faces a lot of problem in separating it, or the waste people find a lot of problem in separating it. So it's good that residents take care of that. Just to educate them, these signage is important. So here's an example of access pathways, which are very important to note in the waste management plan. This development consists of townhouses. You can see in the blue part with the orange markups of the bin store areas. The light blue one is the cafe area where bin store is placed at the back. And then the right hand side, we can see the bin store area for the apartments. So here we're going to talk about how we can put these bins to a collection point so that it can be taken away by the waste contractor. So for the residencies, normally a space is provided within the dwelling where the bins can be stored. Similarly for the cafes. For apartments, we have a space in the basement. The only thing is if we have a access path, that how the building operator can take it to the collection point. As you can see in this image, the blue one, the townhouses were pretty straightforward, as the residents have to put their bins in the front side so that it can be taken away. But here in this case, council asked that apartments should also put their bins on the front lane so that it can be taken away from the council. But this design didn't have any like a passage, which was there previously, so that the building operator can take it from the front side. So we had to go from the back side, because the front side includes the entry or it includes the lobby, where it's not feasible to bring the bins from the outside because of the hygiene purpose. So they had to go from the back side so that they can bring the bins to the front side for collection. So it's pretty hard for the building operator, but we also need to take care of the residents of the building. So we propose that it will go from the back side and come towards the front. So these things we can consider, and if there was a like passage, maybe it's design or some space constraints are there in this one, but if there's a space or passage nearby, or we could include that early in the design, then it will be pretty good, and then it will be easy for everyone. Otherwise, it's a very hard job for the building contractor to put it in the front every time or every week. So that's it for me. Any questions? I'm happy to answer. Just opening the chat. You can put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer the questions. You can put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer the questions. You can put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer. Hi Shiva. Hi Kevin. Hi Angie. Hi Shiva. Hi. Any questions, Arvind? Hi Angie. Hi Shiva. Hi. Any questions, Arvind? Hi Angie. Hi Shiva. Any questions? Just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer all of them. Just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer all of them. Just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer all of them. Just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer all of them. Just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer all of them. Just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer all of them. Just put it in the chat and I'll try to answer all of them. Okay guys, if you have anything, you can let me know, or otherwise you can always contact us. If you have anything, emails, and let me know, or we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Thanks a lot.